What's going on, guys? Three Wheels in the Block back again in the garage with the sand machine, aka the dad wagon. And I have neglected to post a lot about this vehicle because it looks just like the other one I had that was smacked up in the front. You saw a video where I traded for this. Well, long story short, the heads were cracked in the 5.3, so it got an engine swap. I had videoed all that, but it was broken up into multiple segments, and I really just didn't feel like editing it. So outside of that, not had any issues with the vehicle. As you can see, the dash is pretty grody, so I need to repaint the dash. I did put a rack on the top, put on these fender flares, these wheels and tires, and that's been about it. This is basically an overland project that serves as a kid hauler, mild overland. Part of that is I am now going to be adding a light bar, and that's what this video is about. How to install a light bar on your 2000 to 2006 Chevy, Silverado, Suburban, GMC, Sierra, Cadillac, Escalade, or GMC Yukon. Now, as you can see, this box is really dusty. This thing's been sitting on that shelf back there for I don't know, probably a year. Dad life, what can I say? Anyway, I hope everything's still in here. I'm not sure how the tape got open or how it got ripped, but probably because stuff was stacked on top of it. So let me grab some compressed air and we'll blow all this off of here. Actually, let me grab this, the chemo. Got most of the dust off there. My main reason for putting this on the truck is SUV. Oh yeah, speaking of truck SUV, for those who don't know, because this comes up often in forums and then some video comments, I'll refer to this as a truck. This is a standard cab long wheelbase chassis with an enclosed body. It's the Suburban carryall. It's a truck. Go ahead and get that out of the way. Now granted, for this body style, it has a different setup in the rear. It's got coil springs instead of leaf springs. So does the Avalanche, which some people will say the Avalanche is not a truck. It's a truck. It's not a crossover SUV. There's a big difference. Truck base, truck. Anyway, moving forward. Alright. So we've got relay, power. There's a switch for the light bar. Power going to the light bar. There's some brackets that probably don't belong to this. I probably found the box. This looks like legit brackets. Got here. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, they're even coated. You see that? Look at that. Look at that. Man, that's nice. So I want to say when I got this light bar, I think it was like 65 bucks with the brackets and everything. Pretty weird. I'm guessing whatever company it was going out of business. That's why I got it. I wanted some additional light on this thing. The original GMT 800 lights aren't super great, so especially if you're doing some sort of setup outside. So not only did it come with brackets, and I'll see if I can find a link to put in the description of something similar. Nutserts. Nutserts. That is really cool. Now, if you don't have a nutsert tool, I don't know how you're going to install the nutserts, but I do have a nutsert tool. If not, I guess you bolt it to the body. I don't know. Anyway, that's cool. It's got pads too, so I guess protect your paint. Which the paint on this thing is crappy. I'm probably not going to repaint it. I got some rust spots to fix. I'll do that, but I'm probably not going to paint this thing. The paint's not crappy. Let me take that back. The paint is decent. I think I actually used this in a video where I showed two different polishes, like an M105 and the Speedacoat polish. So that'll kind of be what this thing's used for. I mean, it's decent. I'm not going to mess with it. What's this here? Oh, cool. So this came from Autosaver 88. Wow, it's been a while. This was not a sponsored video, which is why I'm just not getting around to it. But Autosaver 88 does have some pretty cool stuff, as you can see here. This is the instructions for installing the light bar. Shows you how to mount the light bar, positioning the light bar, and it has a wiring diagram, which is very handy. If you don't get a diagram, that can make life really terrible, especially if you don't know wire stuff. I've been doing electrical stuff for a while, so no big deal there. Let's get out this big old hunker. Now this, I just heard some fasteners hit the floor over there. That's weird. Anyway, hopefully we don't need those. Now, of course, I'm installing this light bar at an age where most of the light bar craze is over because everybody's squatting their trucks now and doing fender well lights and all that kind of fun stuff that I am not doing. So, this is a function over fashion, a form over fashion type operation. So you see this is a curved light bar. Hopefully you can see that curve there in the camera, which is cool because it should match the curve of the vehicle. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Oh, if you're wondering why my shirt's dirty, it's because I just did an oil change on this thing. So if you hadn't seen my oil change video, I'll put a link at the top of the screen. Get you caught up on those. Not bad at all. Alright, let's see. I'm going to set the time lapse up and I'll pause as needed to walk through what essential things you may need to know about installing this light bar on your GMC Chevrolet or your GMT 800 vehicle. Alright, done a little bit of mock-up and I had to modify these brackets. They were too far out or too far in by about 2 inches, so you can see they're kind of flat now. Yeah, that's what I ended up doing there to eliminate that issue. The light bar sits a little bit higher than I anticipated, but I think I'll roll with it. Since this is just a fun kid hauler, I'm not going to over obsess about how things look too much. So I'm going to go ahead and drill my holes for my rib nuts, and I'll show you guys that portion, and then we'll route the wires and get everything hooked up. So underneath the hood, just talk about wire routing real quick. I'm gonna hook up to the battery. You can hook up to, there's power distribution there. There's also power distribution underneath this box, somewhere in here. I think it's right down here on this side. You can pop this box out and there's I think there's a couple lugs down here. Since my battery terminals are all beautiful, I'm gonna just hook up to my battery directly. It's got a fuse in place, also has a relay, so you want to mount that somewhere. I'll show you my final mounting place for that, as well as where I put the fuse at. The power going to the light bar, I route it through here, just tucked in that open area basically, right down through here, and then in through here, and I'm going to route it up here, because this is the power, and tuck it in behind this channel, and then it'll just come out right up there. So I'll make my connection somewhere not in the window channel, probably just make it up here at the top with some sort of weather tight connector, and then or just splice them together and solder the connections either way, and then route it down through here. It'll go back to here, and then for the switch, I'll probably just run the switch through the door jamb under the dash. There's a couple places in the firewall that you could run it. A real common one's underneath the steering column. I see a lot of guys do that. We just route it through this big rubber boot right here. Then there's a couple other options. If you go through this grommet up top, it's super high up in the dashboard. That one can be hard to get to. Or you can go below the steering column there, or over behind the engine. There's a couple grommets. That grommet straight back there is also hard to get to because it's high and in behind the dash. And there's another grommet over on that side, right back in there, where you could also run the wires through. That one can be a little tricky to get to as well, but that gives you a few options on where you can get your power into your cabin for your switch. Alright, so instead of doing the nut certs, because on the GMT 800s this metal is folded over, it's about 3 levels of metal where the roof is folded over the A-pillar and the door frame, so the nut certs will not compress enough, so I'm going to use self-tapping screws. That'll be plenty to hold this in place. I'll be using quarter 20s to do this. Alright. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy, as my girls say. Now that the bracket's on, I'll go ahead and mount this light bar back up there at the top. Alright, it's the moment of truth. Let's see if this thing's gonna work or not. Cool. It is working. I'll get it out when it gets a little bit darker and we'll see how bright the light bar is. That's gonna wrap it up. My name's Erwin. It's Three Wheels in a Block. We're giving back what time has taken away. You've seen another video with the same machine. We'll see you soon.